That's the first thing, finding people in the school. Everybody. Smashing up my course. Level down. I don't see much of it. Okay.
It's like we do person.
The top tier, that's where that's how things. And that's how it works. It's our biggest tenant. It's something bigger than everybody else's. It's not good. I commented the other day. What's going on with the rest of 12? I was like, it's a little late, but we're so much. It wasn't an official ask, it was an unofficial ask. Official, are you ready? Let's do it.
Good morning, everyone. Let's call the meeting to order. We'll just start right off. First order of business, please. To announce the next business meeting, which is this room. Oh, well, the business meeting will probably be canceled, but if it happens, it'll be December 10th. And the next hearing will be in this room, Thursday, December 19th at 8:30 in the morning. With that, you swear the staff, please. Oh, right. You swear to affirm that the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you. Now you can swear in the commission, please.
Yes. Mr. Whitman.
Here.
Mr. Leathersit. Here. And Mashi. Here. Mr. Slaney. Here. Mr. Beebe.
Here.
Ms. Rittler. Here. Mr. Pongonis.
Here.
Ms. Brown. Here. We have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you. So will you give us the overview of the hearing format, please?
Yes. So city staff of the will present a staff report on the materials. Then after that, the applicant will come and sit at the presenters table, be sworn in and asked to present, their materials. And then any registered speakers, we don't have any registered speakers today, but if there's anyone from the public that wants to speak, they can come to the podium, be sworn in and providing 3 minutes each to speak. And then the commissioners will discuss the case and ask any questions if needed.
Very good. With that, could I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting, please? Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. That motion is approved. Okay. So with that, we are ready for the applications, please.
Yes. So the first application is for 175 South 3rd Street, which is located at the southwest corner of 3rd and Town Streets. The applicant is seeking commission approval to install an internally illuminated LED channel letter corporate tower sign at the top of the building's northeast corner. The channel letters are to be 35.5 feet wide by 5 feet for about 5 feet 4 inches tall. And submitted materials include the site plan, existing site photos, sign rendering, sign details, and mounting details. For keeping. So it's just their sign at the top there. They're just wanting to, renew it. So you can see that there with the elevation and the materials. Here's a detail on the profile and the height. And then this is the mounting details of how we attach the building and how we receive electricity.
What's up there now? Anything up there now?
I think, yeah, there's nothing there now.
Okay. Would the applicant please come forward?
We still have to announce.
Go ahead.
The downtown design guidelines recommend that corporate towers, skylight signs identify the name of the building or major tenant, and the signs are proportional to the building height and mass, as well as compatible with the building architecture, and is rapidly consistent with that. Thank you.
All set. Will you come up and join us, please?
For real this time?
Yeah, I think you're okay this time. Yes. Would you, Could you both identify yourselves for the record, please?
Yes, I'm Bruce Danko, and I'm an employee of KeyBank in the retail design group. And
I'm Luke Butterball, represent Brilliant Electric Signs and Bright Now Signs that's doing the installation.
Brent, could you raise your right hand? Could you swear to affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So say, I do.
I do.
I do.
Very, very good. This is pretty straightforward. Is this the standard graphic that you use kind of everywhere then?
Yes.
Any
Absolutely.
questions for the applicant? Comments?
Does KeyBank have a sign on one of the other downtown buildings?
Yes, but that is coming down, hopefully in the spring. I'm not sure if you know all the details, but the building is in receivership right now. So there's,
So you're gonna be responsible for taking down the old sign?
right.
Any other questions, comments?
So the whole sign is illuminated at night, the key.
Yes.
Yes.
Only at night then?
That's when
Yeah.
it'll matter.
Yeah.
Say again.
That's the only time it'll matter. If
Yeah.
it's on in the daytime, it won't,
Other
Sure.
questions, comments? What's the pleasure of the group, please?
Move approval.
There's a motion to approve. Is there, Tony, second? Other questions, comments, anything from the audience? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
For those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thanks.
So our next application is for 50 South Front Street. It's also a graphics application. This address is located at the southeast corner of Front and West Capitol Streets. The applicant is seeking commission approval to replace sign faces on the existing projecting and awning signs. The projecting sign is 36 feet from grade and the canopy sign is 18 feet from grade. And submitted materials include a site plan, existing site photos, elevations, and sign details. We go to those materials history. So this is the Capitol Suites Hotel. This is what it currently looks like with that canopy. And then they're looking to put this wall sign here. And they have a projecting sign further up higher, and they're just replacing the face of that double tree to Capitol Suites there.
Could you read those dimensions? I can't read that on there, on the blade sign. Thank you.
Blades and yeah, so, oh. There we go. So it's 6 feet across and then 3 feet, almost 3 feet, or almost 4 feet tall.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That is in existence.
Yeah, it's existing. They're just switching out the faces of the sign. For the
Oh,
new,
I see.
for the new tenant.
Okay.
And after review, the downtown design guidelines recommend that each firm for tenant space or building be provided one projecting sign, either one wall sign or awning sign per frontage. And that projecting signs are preferred in the downtown district and should be proportional to the building with a minimum of 10 feet between grade and the bottom of the sign. And the proposed graphics are consistent with these guidelines. Thank you.
Would the applicant please come up and join us?
Good morning.
Good morning. Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
My name is Alyssa Sherry. I'm with Prestige Signs. We'll be the installation contractor for this.
All right. Would you raise your right hand? Did you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say, I do.
I do.
Thank you. Okay. I don't know if there's much to say about it. Do you want to just tell us a little bit? Obviously, it's eliminated, I assume.
Yeah. So I think the issue was of the height, the commission approving it. So it brought to this meeting today. But it is an existing sign. It's currently illuminated and it is LED. So the scope of work is to not change any of the illumination. It's existing. We're only replacing the faces on the awning sign as well as the projecting sign.
Questions, comments?
The awning sign, it looks like there was something there.
Yes.
Is that what you're replacing it with? How will that be?
So
Just attached or fit in?
yes.
two, metal strips on either side? I'm not.
Yes. So if you see there on the existing sign, there's a cabinet, a sign cabinet already existing. So we're just going to remove the trim and then slide the new face in. So we're not changing any structure. Just the new face will go in. So there's a cabinet, kind of like a bump out, maybe a couple inches from the awning, that's existing that has illumination in it. So this will be just like a polycarbonate or acrylic face that will just slide right in. And then the trim will go back into it.
This, from that gold and the, white letters, letters will be.
Yes. Yes.
Are there other questions? Comments? Anything from the audience? Anybody has a comment? What's the pleasure of the group, please? Motion to approve. Is there a second? There's a second, Jennifer. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry, those opposed. No, none.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next case.
So I just want to note that Mr. Gomez is recusing himself from this application. This is for 635 Nordic Drive, so put your mind next to the Crew Stadium. 635 Nordic Drive is a residential building, which is a part of the Astor Park development adjacent to the Lower.com Soccer Stadium. This project was approved by the commission in October 2021. And today the applicant is seeking commission approval of design updates to the building's facade and building materials. The updates include recessed detail bands and associated flashings have been eliminated, changes to the roof lines. Full white brick is now carried up 3-story versus 1-story with thin brick above. Additional brick has been added to the northwest corner of the building. Material selections have been changed as indicated, keeping the color palette similar to the previously approved design. The courtyard facade materials have been changed to primarily fiber cement siding. The full white brick base is maintained for the first level only. And in addition to these exterior updates, interior programming has been updated to include 15 additional residential units, a relocation of the satellite lobby entrances, and the addition of a fitness room. And submitted materials include floor plans, renderings, material details, elevations, sections, cut sheets, and life spec details. And this is kind of a, longer packet, but I'll just kind of go here. So they have some nice renderings of what was previously approved, and you can see, and then how it was updated. So moving from east elevation, previous, east elevation, updated, amenity pavilion, what was previously approved, and then that same space, which is the updated proposal. This is the west facade, previously approved, and then what was updated. And then you have updated materials here, and then after that, we have the elevation, so north elevation, which was previously approved and updated. East and west elevations previously approved. And what was updated. Courtyard, which is the north elevation, which is previously approved and then updated. And then these are the courtyard east and west elevation, so tucked inside, what was previously approved and updated. And then it goes on with sections and things like that. So I'll help them go after it. But after review, the downtown design guidelines recommend that the built environment be energized with new buildings and improvements in the public realm that unique design expression, long-lasting building construction materials, and attention to detail, especially at the street level. And the proposal is consistent with the downtown design guidelines. Thank you.
Okay, would the applicant come up with and join us? Or applicants. Feel free to grab another chair there.
I will. Yeah.
Very good. Could you identify yourselves for the record, please?
Sure. Eric Buck with Pizzuti.
David Goff, Lupton Roush Architects.
Justin Turley, Lupton Roush Architects.
Great. Could you raise your right hands? Do you swear to affirm that the testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So say I do.
I do.
Thank you very much. Couple of questions real quick. Procedurally, this is 3 years old now. How long do these approvals last? Let's see.
You're in that minute, so, so you're.
I think we need to talk about that just in time, this, relate to this, obviously, at this point. And, second thing is, would you, I think, obviously, we're dealing with an approved case. Let's just kind of cut to the chase and walk us through what the changes are here, okay?
Sure.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. You guys want to just take the lead then?
Sure, yeah, so the, one of the primary changes, if you go back to the rendering, probably the easiest place to see.
Which rendering?
This one is perfect.
Great.
So.
This, as I recall, is northeast?
Northeast. Correct, that's the stadium. You can see lower.com on the left there. So one of the issues was specifically this recessed detail band, which based on this construction type being in wood frame was very difficult and therefore expensive to pull off. So one of
that is right above the third floor. Is that right?
Yeah, there's one above the right at
First floor.
fourth floor line and then right above the first floor, correct?
Okay.
So that was all the first floor was all full white brick with everything above being thin brick. And that ended up being pretty costly to try to pull that detail off with all the flashing and maintaining that offset that kind of gave it its design elements. So if you flip to the next one. By removing that detail band just to make the constructability simpler, cleaner, we did what we could in the redesign to maintain a lot of that design intent. Above the first floor, there is a recessed brick detail of stacked row lock bricks that are continuous to kind of break that first floor from the floors above. That is full white brick all the way up to the top of the third floor now. At which point we switched to a lighter tone brick. That's a thin brick as well. We took advantage of that material depth difference to kind of create a shadow line and offset at that floor line as well.
Was the question I had, and I'm glad we did here because I thought we were changing material or changing color if we weren't offsetting within that sculptural steel. So that's,
Sure.
that's
Yeah. Yeah, but previously we were kind of forcing that thin brick out to be more or less flush with the full white below, but we kind of just took advantage of the material depth difference to exaggerate and
What is white brick that you're talking about?
yeah, it's the thickness of the brick. Yeah, so typically it's about 3 and 4 by 5 inches. Yeah.
The white, each layer.
Who's that? What is that?
And then the thin brick is more or less similar to what the samples are, right? It ends up being about 3/4 of an inch thick or so.
Okay. And then, so I hear a discussion about the slab board beds here, so tell us, where does that, is that, are you adding more of that, or having the same amount, or
So courtyards,
color,
courtyard side, we absolutely are adding more. Outwardly facing everything, if you stay on that rendering there, previously this whole corner was a fiber cement product. It was a rain screen product, so slightly different than the traditional lap siding. On this corner though, we ended up making the design a little more homogeneous for the rest of the project and adding more brick. So outward facing, it's probably a little bit more brick than there was previously. Courtyard side, and we don't have a rendering of that. We have some elevations a little later in the set. On the courtyard side, we ended up, that's the previous design. Basically, it was matching exactly what was outward facing. And we switched that to be, it's kind of hard to read there, but it's a 2 tones of fiber cement siding to kind of mimic what's going on the outside, but it's a horizontal lap.
So you took out some of the brick that was inside.
Right.
Is the color palette changed a little bit too then?
The materials have changed, but the palette remains fairly consistent. We tried to find analogous materials.
Go ahead, questions?
Just ask, originally you had the cement fiber panel, and now it's
The lap siding.
Siding. And I'm wondering, if that's the reason for the change, if that was aesthetic, if it was durability.
Sure, and I think it's similar to the recessed detail bands in that the constructability, especially on this construction type, became challenging with the product that was being proposed. There was a rain screen system that was going to require Z-girts and a lot of backup material to push that out. The lap siding that we're showing here is far more common for this building type. It's easily acquired. The installation process is much simpler. So a lot of it had to do with budgetary constraints, but we think we're still maintaining a durable product. It's the same material essentially as the last product, just a more simple install.
I think you're going to get similar shadow lines. I mean, the other was going to be fairly flush with just fine joints. This has got just a little bit more of a shadow line, which I think will help with some of the texture, but color-wise and scale is very similar to what we had.
When you change colors with this product, will that be then?
You mean courtyard side is where that transition would occur, and it's
That's where you have the.
right.
Where you have that. Where you have the last time, but you're also changing color.
It would be more or less a flush condition. We're kind of handling that transition with trim details to separate that material with a strong horizontal shadow, but the true wall plane is flush from one to the other.
And there is some movement in this image though, like if you're the big glass box and that with the darker color that goes vertical and then you go to the lighter colors on either side, that actually there is movement in and out there.
Looks like a hat, it's like a corner.
It does.
It does exactly that.
Okay, are there other questions or comments?
That's value engineering improves the design.
Yeah, I agree. We really like the direction that it's heading.
Yeah. Okay. And just as a comment, by the way, I understand you wanted to have this done administratively. We appreciate you bringing this in. This is, I think, big enough and important. We like to look at.
Yeah, I understand.
So.
Yeah, we appreciate this process. We think this process does make for better projects. So we appreciate you taking a look at it as well.
Thank you. Other questions, comments? Anything from the audience? You're on the floor over there. No, it's okay.
Strategies I put in place, I mean, I think they improved the design as well, getting rid of the banding.
Yeah.
Public facing and, material on the courtyard base, so it's.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the group, please? There's a motion to approve, is there a second? Thank you. So the motion is on the floor. Any other questions, comments, anything? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thanks.
Great, thank you.
Oh, when do we start?
We're
3
looking
years from now?
at, we are looking at a end of Q1, early Q2 of 25.
Great.
So soon.
See, it's 24 now. Okay. Let's see, we go from here to a conceptual application, which we have one today, so.
For 132 South Third Street, the cabinet project again. As you all know, it's located at the corner of South Third and East Chapel Street. We've kind of seen a lot of this information, but they're demolishing the rear 1923 addition, building a new addition. And then the site is listed on the Columbus Register of Historic Properties, and it's also concurrent with the Historic Resources Commission. And that group did their conceptual review last Thursday. So they're coming now here for this. This applicant was last before the commission on the August 2024 meeting where the commission was generally supportive of both the demolition and new construction, but expressed a need for more information on the planned LED tower and the impacts on adjacent buildings and future advertising. The commission also noted that new addition looked generic overall, appreciated the update entrance area, but stated that more could be done to fill the space. Several commissioners noted that more could be done with the street level digital screens to draw in pedestrians. And we have a lot of updates here, but in response to that feedback, we have the following updates on all elevations. You'll see updated roof lines in the addition. They removed the LED feature on the church tower and instead incorporated decorative lighting. On the west elevation, they solidified the red entry and drainage system option. They removed the zero grade entry and instead added steps with an ADA ramp to that entrance. They removed the sculptures at the entrance, and then they added 2 automatic changeable copy graphics, 2 wall signs at the entrance with screens on either side of the doors. And then catty corner to that, they added a ground sign. 3 design options are shown, with 1 containing automatic changeable copies, so they'll have to pick one eventually. And then they removed the projecting sign from the existing bridge facade and added decorative uplighting. On the north elevation, they replaced the sign with a mural, and then they added a projecting sign above the entrance door that's a stage door. And then on the south elevation, they added a mural. So submitted materials include a context map, site plan, landscape plans, floor plans, elevations, graphics, drawings, renderings, and lighting spec details. And I'll just kind of quickly go through. We've seen a lot of these images already, but I want to get to the elevations here. So we have this as a mural here on this elevation. And then you can see these roof lines here, what changed, like these here. This was that LED sign kind of thing. They took that out. And again, there's going to be some decorative lighting sort of emerging. You'll see. Here's that little stage door sign that was added. Again, we have different roof lines along here. Here, they solidify that entrance. We have these 2 screens here now. And then there's some decorative uplighting along this elevation as well. We get to the elevations that really show. So again, we have this here. Sometimes this is just a sign, sometimes it's a screen, so I feel like they're still debating on what to put there. This used to be almost 0 grade, but now we have stairs with that ADA ramp on the side, 2 screens. We had several entrance options before, now we've had one that's selected. Not much going on there. Here's that mural that they talked about, another mural here. And then again, so you can see they kind of swap that out here, so we're still deciding. Couple more renderings here. This is at night. And then again, this is the third option that they have here for that side. And again, another night rendering. So I'll let them go through the whole thing, but that's in a nutshell what's going on. And in terms of analysis, the downtown design guidelines encourage the preservation of downtown's building stock in cases where demolition does occur, the reclamation of building materials for reuse. The guidelines encourage adaptive reuse of buildings and recommend high quality durable materials, a high degree of ground floor transparency, and that rooftop structures and spaces be complementary to the principal building. Further, they state that contemporary design and materials are appropriate. And overall, the proposal is generally consistent with the downtown design guidelines. Staff recommends that the applicant incorporate bicycle parking into the site plan. And staff recommends that the condition any future approval on the adoption of code section 3377.08. That's about how we regulate automatic changeable copy. And then staff notes that changeable copy signs, both electronic and manual, are generally not appropriate in the downtown district. However, staff does recognize that they can be supported in 4 areas of downtown, which this is. Thank you.
Okay. Would the applicant please come up and join us? Thank you.
Hi, morning.
Can you identify yourself?
Jason Gay with Capo. We're the owner of the building.
Would you raise your right hand and swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Say I do. Thank you. well, again, we have seen this. Maybe the most efficient way to proceed is to talk about what maybe some of your changes are. And just to review, and I think we have reviewed this conceptually a couple of times maybe, and I think we've been in pretty good stead with where you are out on it.
Yep.
So kind of maybe, as this thing has evolved, maybe kind of catch us up with some of that.
Yep, sure.
And then get us a sense of where you want to try to come out today. This is, again, a conceptual application today, so we're just gonna give you our thoughts on it, so.
Yeah, just, I think we're looking for feedback on the design changes primarily to the roof.
Mike,
Sure.
thank you.
Comments and feedback on the updates primarily to the addition that's in the rear, so on the east side of the building. And then the plaza updates, the way they interact with the historic building. And then some feedback on the exterior lighting plan, the path that we're on there, as well as the signage. The signs that are, the lettered sign is really conceptual. We don't officially have a name of the building. The Ambry is our working name, so it is a placeholder. But, you know, just feedback on the scale, the way you think it feels. And then the digital sign, we see that working more like the marquee on the palace.
Is that the one on the front of
Yeah.
the side of the steps?
Yep, so if you see a large digital display, that would be at street level, but then the name of the venue at the top, which would be permanent, with the idea that we're rotating through events that would be that you'd be able to see in the venue. Similar to what we do on the marquee at the palace. So that's the concept. Maybe like an Ike board, but not for advertising, more for just what's happening in the venue.
Well, I would say with your sign over the front door there, I don't trouble. If you came into us with a support group and you said as a placeholder, we're going to put the name of it there, we're working on that. We can work that into the art.
Okay.
So again, I guess conceptually, our question would be, does anybody have trouble with the way the thing is presented there? If we did,
I think the changes are really nice. The graphic looks a little big to me. I want to reduce it by 20%, but otherwise the organization of the building and the way it, you know, is sort of a compliment to the historic building. I think it's all really lovely.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
I have just a quick comment on the steeple tower. You're going to put lighting, it looks like on the front.
Mhm.
And around on that, right there, that view there on that's looking south, right? Is that?
Yep, looking south, yep,
Okay.
coming down the street.
If you could come right around the corner, whatever uplighting you're having, is get that wall of that steeple, you see what I mean, to match the front. So that you're kind of having, I think that's actually a nice architectural feature of that building. So if that wall could be washed, kind of to match what is on the west side of it as well, I think that could be good.
Yeah, that's a great comment. So the top of the belfry there is probably glowing in this rendering more than it actually will.
I understand. To my taste, I think that wants to be, that is a less is more. I kind of, we just got to be efficient here in a second. We're going to make sure that he swears. But I think that's a less is more kind of place.
Right.
I think it'd be kind of interesting, fun to have it glow, but not too much.
I also think it's a step in the right direction from what we saw last time, we did that to the outside, but
Mhm.
it's so subtle, and it works better with the architecture.
That would also provide this rendering,
There.
too, which might be more
Yeah,
close to what it might look.
Sam, could you rate it? Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
Sam Rosenthal, Schooley Caldwell Project Manager.
Could you raise your right? Thank you. Do you swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say, I do.
I do.
Thank you. You guys are about to be married. Okay, So any other question or comment, anything you'd like to interrupt me?
Well, I think the addition on the east end of the building, the facade, is new. We tried to break up the harsh horizontal lines. Yeah, that, and then also, exposed, ductwork on the rooftop is the new feature too. So and that's painted right now to match the red doors in the front as sort of as a highlight. Being a little more playful, I think that was the word you used, to showcase it as a venue where exciting things happen. We want to take advantage of those mechanicals being exposed.
So I have a few questions. So what you're saying, which I think is a very interesting, great idea, instead of screening people up there, we're painting it, exposing it, and then maybe second time the roof line as well, or maybe that was the one.
No. That was all in response to what we heard at the last time, that we needed to go back and just think more holistically about the overall graphics and just the massing. That I think it was pretty plain in the back. And we looked again at the window proportions and just the rhythm of the windows. And then as we were looking at everything in that context, we were noticing with the roof lines of the steeples and then just also the church itself that we were missing an opportunity to relate back to that without completely copying it. So we didn't want the severe roof lines, but we wanted some sense of movement and some just expression that gave you that sense of something more dynamic moving around the building.
That you're proposing on the south side, what do you have in mind for that? Is that something that you see actually part of the architecture, part of the masonry design, or you see that as something applied and you see that as one permanent design or something that's temporarily changeable?
We had envisioned it as a permanent piece of public art. So we would do a search for artists, with the support of GCAC. But we recently learned that there is a breathable application that will do the same thing, a print application. So I think our original intent was to make it painted permanent, find a local artist or a pair of local artists to each have a mural spot. But learning that there's some new techniques out there, maybe we'll take an opportunity to look at it again.
But
It will be public art, yes, yes.
I just had one quick, really things that fall out right now. In the plaza area, I noticed on the, I guess when you're looking at the south side, there is a curve. And I had one, it's rather low. And I don't know if that would be tripping hazard or if you had thought perhaps to raise it and give it some depth. So it could also be a seating bench. Just something where people are present and there's the opportunity to sit as well. And then also still is that functional ledge for you for that function.
Yeah, right now it's designed as a retaining wall because that plaza is raised and then it steps down to the planting bed beyond. We definitely don't want to create a fall or trip hazard. One thing that doesn't show up in these renderings yet is that we want to add the stone that we're removing below the windows where we're making the connection from the addition into the sanctuary space. We want to be able to retain those pieces of stone and have them outdoors as kind of seating elements. We want to keep track of those few stones that we're cutting out. So we're looking at that as an opportunity to have an additional buffer.
So you would be raising that there.
And putting the stones in front of the wall, actually.
Just some way somebody could.
You could just go over the edge, yeah.
I like the direction we're going with, but I do think that perhaps the boundary is slightly too large. Maybe it could be slightly smaller, I think. As well. So just in looking at it, but it's something I think study to see. And I also think the railings, whatever you decide ultimately, can be bigger speak. But I think they should also be substantial sense that this is a contributory design and that is what we see the lighting down the street. Whatever you decide to do, if you want to just make that you see as kind as possible, or if you want to make that more of a dynamic. That's something to study, decide what direction.
Other comments? Questions? Anybody?
On the Lavender solution last time, Sloping Plaza area reform, this is a simple hybrid, these commission. For use, it's expected to use all great design solution.
Anything else? Anybody from the audience?
I like how you've advanced the design of the back building slopes and kind of this peeling away to reveal the RT. I think that's an interesting technique too. And it begins to have its own character as well. So I think that's an attraction.
Okay. For comments here today.
Thank
We're
you.
ready whenever you are.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Yeah. Right, and so the last two items are to move and approve the staff approvals. We didn't have a forum for the staff approvals in October, so we'll have to do the motion and go over those as well for October and then November, so we'll have two motions there. And I'm happy to bring up the staff approval from October if you'd like.
Does anybody, make that one motion? Is that a problem? Do you want?
No, we can do that. We can just copy over the.
We have a motion to approve. She sets it by their administrative.
So
And is there a second? Second. Thank you. Any questions for Belkis? Down? Anybody have anything? Okay, good. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you. Any new business comments? Well, yeah, well, let's get back to it. I think we should have them, I think I think that's a real easy thing to pick it up. It's good for whatever it is. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. But it doesn't make sense to have, somebody put it back in, 10 years later, because who knows the context of the place, the whole area.
Yeah, that's, generally our process for that. So East Franklinton and downtown, which are the zoning district areas, don't have a cap on their COAs. All the other commissions do, though. It's 1 year.
Yeah.
And so if they come back after a year, then that automatically goes to those commissions for their approval. We follow the same process, so unless it's like a very tiny change, but any other changes, like for example, they wanted a staff approval, I was like, it's been a couple of years, it's substantial, we're going back to the commission. So we follow that process. All the other commissions have that stipulated in their code though. So since it's not in our code, that would be a code update that would have to happen. We'd have to, talk through that at the administrative level.
So
Every year might be too restrictive.
I do too. Should we,
And I'm happy to bring this feedback back to, move something.
is there,
Like
do we need to consult with anybody in the administration to see if they have a thought on it?
It would be Mark Gervillis.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe what we could do, does anybody, what would be the consensus of this group if we were gonna pick some today? A year?
3 years.
3 years. Is that good?
Yeah, I think we're right.
Okay.
I think I'm very good. Could you, why don't we, so we brought it on,
Yeah.
let's think about it, but why don't you check with Mark?
I will.
Let's, when you come back, we can talk next meeting about two things, if he has any input on it, today or next.
Absolutely.
And two, what would be the process? Is this something that we as a group could just suggest or request? Because I think to me, it makes sense to be able to take it. By the way,
I agree.
it's kind of like some of these proposals where they come back and they want to change. We've seen it, we were familiar with it, so, if they come back and there are very few changes, very likely it's going to be a pretty quick process when they come back in So we're going to sit here and start.
Like today.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, okay, you're gonna check
Bring
the
that
parts, and then you'll also figure out if we decide we want to do that,
What is the?
how do we, yeah, what do we do? So we can address it now.
Education, so the 3 years, that would be 3 years to what?
There, I think what it means is their COA would expire.
Okay, well, what was,
Is that what?
Yeah.
so the COA means that they would have to start the construction of those.
I think they'd have to start with them. They have to use that COA to get it going.
Right.
And then the building.
COA. And if they went past that, they would have to file an application, come back here. And we would have to reapprove it and reissue a new COA.
So they're really gonna have to get the building permit, and the building permits are good for a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the HRC also 1 year?
All the historic commissions are 1 year.
There's Venus.
And then university area is 1 year.
Yeah.
And downtown East Franklinton, since they're zoning districts, those COAs are good indefinitely.
1 year just seems kind of irrelevant to me in terms of the business cycle and adjusting the market. Or things that make construction more or.
That could be a bigger conversation.
Why don't you ask Mark when you're talking, if there's an issue related to an HRC termination date that is different than what our COA date would be. I don't know if they would view that as some kind of issue.
Yeah.
Yes, if the COA would expire, I assume they would have to back to the HRC.
They do.
Okay.
If someone, let's say it expires after it's another commissioner, this one,
Yeah.
for example, if it expires and is unchanged, can they re-up it with you as a staff approval, or do they have to?
If it's completely the same, so we compare side-by-side drawings, and if it's the same across the board, no changes whatsoever, we can reissue COA.
Yeah.
But if there's a change to anything, and that change is very significant, or just significant in general, then it goes back to that commission.
I mean, for the sake of continuity, if we said, well, everyone else is a year, let's be a year, and we can staff on 55 change, I'd be also fine with that too. Because in theory, that's just.
Small change.
Yeah, or,
Yes,
yes, or
it
it
is
is just in the
Five,
project.
six, downtown years, being
So I agree. But as an administrator, with someone saying, well, these guys are 1 year, you're 3 years, well,
there are some city projects where we have both.
yeah, I agree. Just for sake of conversation.
Okay.
Well, I'll get on that. And then I also wanted to let you all know, so this will be my last meeting, until spring with you all, and I'm, expanding my family. So Stephanie Hensler there, she's going to be the staff person, filling in for me while I'm out. Yeah, so she'll be here, in December, January, February, March, and then I may be back in either April or May.
Okay. Good. That's with everything.
Yeah.
Okay, Bob, you have it.
Yeah, I have two things. One is, that's the information for their to spit the work.
Yeah.
Go on to fully call so they can make the shipments.
Yeah, we have those printed out. We have, those, I think those actually back with, for the kids.
And we're processing them for the mayor's.
Yeah. And the other thing is this proposed takeover of the SIDS by the city.
I have no
Big,
information.
major downtown. Okay.
I haven't received any information about that.
The DCI, CDC is proposing to take over the two downtown SIDS. And I think it's a huge policy rearrangements taking basically say the center, as they come and report to us frequently, doing a great thing and having some private funded by the public. And now they're proposing to consolidate that and give it all of that control, not supposed to money, to CDC.
Do it, they.
BCI, and back in the city, if I understand. I don't understand that, I don't know what our role is. We do have a role, supposedly, is commenting on major policy things downtown. And it seems like we should have some kind
I can look into that.
of make a recommendation or express an opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know the details either, just, well, but it seems counterintuitive.
Well, I've got heard that about that and stuff, so. Why don't you just see if you can find any info?
Yeah, I will.
You're gonna be here in December, right?
No, Stephanie won't be. I'll relay, I mean, she heard everything.
Steph, I'm gonna ask if you can give her my information. Stephanie, could you give me a call and we'll just catch up for a few minutes then? So you'll have my, contact information.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other thoughts or comments or questions for this group?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, everybody.
So are we adjourned?
Well, any other business? New or old?